Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to Midnight Affairs Tales. We appreciate every single one of you. We'd love to know what part of the world you are watching from right now. Let us know in the comments now. Let's dive into today's story, Chapter 1. The warehouse was cold. Not the kind of cold that made your fingers numb. This was the kind that crawled down your spine and settled behind your ribs. FBI Special Agent Cole Merrick crouched beside the rusted loading dock, breath fogging in the dark. Inside, four armed suspects were holding a cartel lieutenant hostage. The op had been planned for weeks. Every angle calculated. Every asset briefed. Clean. Or so he thought. Then, just before entry, his partner leaned in. Tyler Vance's voice was low, like a snake's hiss. "You're worthless." Cole blinked. What? But it was too late. Gunfire erupted inside. Screams. Shouts. Chaos. Cole pushed through the door with his sidearm drawn. But the layout was wrong. No cover. No exits. It was a kill box. Behind him, Tyler was gone. A bullet tore through the rookie agent beside Cole. Blood sprayed against a shipping container. Cole returned fire, grabbed the rookie's vest, dragged him out as backup stormed in behind them. The op was blown. The hostage was dead. Later that night, under fluorescent lights at HQ, Cole's hands trembled as he peeled off his blood-stained vest. Tyler walked past, unbothered, sipping coffee like nothing happened. "Why the hell did you say that to me?" Cole asked, voice tight. Tyler didn't stop, just muttered, "Better luck next time." That's when something inside Cole shifted. This wasn't just betrayal. It was a message. But why? And what the hell had he missed? Hey there, amazing audience. If you're enjoying this story so far, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support truly fuels my passion and keeps these stories coming. I'd love to hear what you're thinking, so drop a comment below and share your thoughts or your own experiences. Let's build a community where stories come alive and every voice is heard. So, don't hold back. Click like, hit subscribe, and let me know you're here. And now, let's continue the story. They buried the rookie agent 2 days later. Ryan Hale, 26. Married. Just 3 months into his bureau life. Cole stood stiff in the second row, suit collar strangling him. Ryan's widow sobbed into the shoulder of another agent. Cole couldn't bring himself to walk up. Couldn't say sorry. Couldn't lie. Because the truth was, Ryan had died for nothing. After the funeral, Cole was called into internal affairs. They asked him if the layout had been accurate, if Tyler followed the plan. Cole lied. Everything was by the book, he said. They nodded. "We're closing it as a tragic misread." Bullshit. Back at home, Cole dropped his keys on the counter. Megan was in the kitchen, smiling too wide. "You okay?" she asked. He didn't answer, just stared at her. There was something in her eyes, pity, guilt. That night, he couldn't sleep. He replayed the whisper in his head again and again. "You're worthless." Was it stress? An insult? Or something more? At 2:12 a.m., he got out of bed and went to the office. Opened the surveillance feed from the raid. Tyler's body cam went static exactly 6 seconds before Cole entered the kill zone. Why? Cole froze the frame. Tyler standing near the back door. Turning left, not forward. Not with him. He had peeled off. Abandoned him. On purpose? The next morning, Cole asked Tyler to meet at a bar. Neutral ground. Tyler arrived late. Smug. "You're still alive, huh?" "Yeah," Cole said, finishing his drink. Not everyone was. Tyler just shrugged. Part of the job. Cole's stomach turned. The way he said it, cold, unfeeling, it wasn't a mistake. It was a hit. But why would Tyler want him dead? Cole left the bar before he lost control. Rage churned in his chest like acid. He walked the city for hours, ignoring his phone, ignoring the world. By the time he got home, it was nearly midnight. The porch light was off. Megan's car was in the driveway, but the bedroom window was dark. Something felt off. He stepped inside quietly. The air smelled different, sharp cologne, not his. His gun instinctively slid into his hand, though he knew this wasn't that kind of danger. It was personal. He moved through the house slowly. The living room was untouched. The kitchen spotless. Then he heard it. bare feet. A soft laugh. The creak of the bedroom floorboards. Cole froze. He stepped back into the shadows and waited. The bedroom door opened. Megan padded into the hallway in one of his old shirts. She looked toward the front door. Then, quick, she slipped back into the room and closed the door behind her. Cole exhaled. Quiet. Controlled. He turned and left. 2 hours later, he was parked across the street in a borrowed car with tinted windows. He watched the lights go off. Then, at 3:42 a.m., another car pulled out from the side alley. He zoomed in with his camera. License plate, government issue. Cole sat back, hard hammering. The man driving? Tyler Vance. The whisper made sense now. The betrayal wasn't just at work. It was in his own damn bed. The next morning, sunlight cut through the blinds like blades. Cole hadn't slept. His eyes were bloodshot, his jaw locked tight. He sat at the dining table, staring at Megan as she sipped coffee like nothing happened. You were out late, she said casually, not looking up. Yeah, you too, he replied. Her fingers tensed around the mug. He leaned back, watching her. Whose car was in the alley? What alley? He smiled, slow and humorless. The one behind our house. Megan hesitated, barely a second, but long enough for the lie to catch in her throat. I didn't see anything. Cole stood, crossed to the coat rack. From the pocket of his jacket, he pulled out a silver lighter. Elegant. Engraved. TY.V. He placed it gently on the table between them. Megan's eyes widened, just slightly. You dropped this, he asked. She didn't touch it. I don't smoke. No, he said. But Tyler does. Silence thickened the room. Megan's breathing changed. Quicker. Shallower. I don't know what that is, she whispered. Wrong answer. Cole walked out before he said something he couldn't take back. He went straight to the evidence locker downtown, flashed his badge, signed in, and found what he needed. 3 seized cell phones from a previous op wiped clean. Untraceable. That night, as Megan showered, Cole went into her purse. Unlocked it. She'd always used his birthday as her passcode. Inside, a burner phone wrapped in tissue. 3 texts stood out. All from a contact saved as Eric. Eric, tomorrow, 2 a.m. same back route. Lock the gate this time. He's getting suspicious. I can tell. Don't worry. He won't see it coming. Cole stared at the screen until the water shut off. He slipped the phone back and walked out without a sound. Cole knew he was stepping into a new war, one not fought with guns, but secrets. The next day, he filed for emergency leave. Mental health. Standard bureau policy. No one asked questions. He was out of sight. That's how he wanted it. Back in his car, parked 2 blocks away, he powered on an old laptop and loaded the mirrored data from Megan's burner. Texts. Call logs. GPS pings. All scrubbed 2 days ago. Too clean. Artificially clean. Somebody had wiped it using bureau-level tools. Tyler, he muttered. But it was worse than that. Whoever cleaned Megan's phone didn't just delete. They planted false logs. Calls to non-existent numbers. Generic timestamps. All designed to look boring, which meant someone in the FBI was helping them. Cole closed the laptop and stared out the windshield at his own house. This wasn't infidelity. This was conspiracy. He dialed a contact, Brandon Cass, former cybercrimes analyst turned black hat for private contractors. Brandon owed him a favor. I need forensic recovery. Off books. You still married to the Bureau? Brandon asked. Not for long. Cole dropped off the phone the same night. Brandon said it would take 48 hours. He didn't wait. Instead, he returned to surveillance. Same dark sedan. Same view of the house. At 2:09 a.m., Megan exited the side door. Tight jeans. No coat. Cole zoomed in on her face through the lens. She smiled at someone out of view. Seconds later, Tyler's silhouette emerged. He kissed her. Cole's stomach turned, but he didn't look away. He couldn't. Tyler handed her something small, square. A flash drive? They laughed. She whispered something in his ear. Cole leaned closer to the mic. The words came through fuzzy, but clear enough. He's already broken. He just doesn't know it yet. Cole signed the lease under a fake name. 1 bedroom. 3rd floor. a direct view of his own home. He brought nothing but essentials: surveillance gear, burner phones, encrypted drives. It was a war room now. One man, one mission, absolute clarity. He blacked out the windows except the one facing the house. Set up cameras on tripods, directional mics, a digital logbook, every movement cataloged. The first few nights, nothing. Megan stayed inside. Tyler didn't show, but Cole was patient. He operated like a sniper now, quiet, focused, detached. On the fourth night, at 3:07 a.m., Tyler entered the backyard. The gate was unlocked. Cole noted the time. Tyler tapped twice on the window. Megan opened it from the inside. They didn't use the front door anymore. Too risky. Cole recorded it all. The kiss. The way she touched his face. The way Tyler looked around like a thief. They disappeared into the house. Cole sat back, breathing slow. He didn't cry. He didn't scream. He just opened a drawer and pulled out a flash drive. Copied everything onto it. Then another. Then another. 3 copies. Different serials. One for exposure. One for leverage. One for insurance. He labeled them: Burn Trap, Legacy. Then he opened a notebook and wrote a single name at the top. Tyler Vance underneath it, a second. Megan Merrick, and under that, slowly, carefully. Phase 1. Infiltrate. This wasn't about rage anymore. It was about revenge, precision engineered. And he was just getting started. The first time Cole heard it, he thought he imagined it. A creak. Slow. Measured. From inside his hallway. He was back in the house for just one night, just to retrieve some old hard drives before Megan returned from her Pilates retreat, as she called it. The moment he entered, something felt wrong. The air was too still. The kitchen was too clean. Then creak. He drew his Glock from the holster on instinct. Moved like muscle memory. One foot after the other, low, quiet, gun raised. Another creak. He swung into the hallway, gun tight to his line of sight, cleared left, cleared right. Nothing. He advanced, checking each door. Then he saw it. Not a person, but something even worse. A fresh footprint on the hallway runner. Still damp. Size 12. Not his. And tracked in from the back door. Cole moved fast, stormed through to the backyard. Empty. Too late. He scanned the gate, wide open. No forced entry. Lock undamaged. Whoever it was had a key. He re-entered the house, locked every door, and checked the cameras. Nothing. Black screen. All feeds were wiped. His own surveillance system disabled. That was the final straw. Cole paced the room, gripping the Glock, heart pounding. They weren't hiding anymore. They were getting bolder. This wasn't just cheating or a setup. This was a slow, surgical erasure of his life, piece by piece. And someone had just stepped into his home to remind him. "You're not safe," he muttered. But then he looked up and smiled. Because he knew something they didn't. He had copies. And the real traps hadn't even been set yet. Cole sat in the glow of the apartment's blue monitors, fingers dancing over keys. Every breath he took was measured. Every click, deliberate. This wasn't a tantrum. It was a blueprint. He'd spent years learning bureau systems, security protocols, audit trails. Now, he used that knowledge like a scalpel. His plan wasn't to kill Tyler. Not yet. It was to erase his credibility, piece by piece. First, Cole cloned a set of internal bureau emails, real ones. Then, using an old access code from his tech liaison days, he inserted modified headers, ones that would flag Tyler as communicating with known aliases tied to the DeSanto crime family. Then came the metadata. He wrote code to simulate mouse movements, click patterns, login behaviors. All of it mimicked Tyler's habits. Everything looked real, because it was built to be. He planted the messages in a buried subdirectory only someone doing an internal sweep would find. That was key. Make it feel discovered, not presented. Then came the phone. He took one of the seized devices from evidence storage, the same model Tyler once carried. Cloned Tyler's SIM data from a 6-month-old backup. He loaded text exchanges between Tyler and a fictional enforcer named Luca. Luca clean hit. Got the photo. Tyler, send it to Megan. Make sure she knows we're done here. Simple. Ruthless. Personal. He placed the phone in Tyler's glove box during a routine parking lot walk-by. No cameras. No witnesses. Everything looked accidental. Coincidental. Truthful. Cole stepped back from his desk, breathing steady. Tomorrow, Tyler's star would begin to fall. Not by exposure, but by implication. And the Bureau would eat him alive. Megan sat on the couch with her legs tucked under her, flipping through a bridal magazine. Cole watched her from the doorway, arms crossed. "Since when do you care about weddings again?" he asked. She looked up, startled. "I thought you were at the office." "Got done early." He smiled faintly. "Nice surprise, huh?" She closed the magazine and set it on the table. "I was just looking at old stuff. I don't know. Feeling nostalgic. About us." She gave a fake laugh. "Don't be dramatic." He walked over slowly, sat across from her, leaned in. "Megan, do you love me?" She blinked. "What?" "It's a simple question." She forced a smile. "Of course I do." "No," he said, voice flat. "I mean, do you still love me?" Her smile faltered. "You're being weird, Cole." "I found the texts," he said. "All of them." Megan's face drained of color. He leaned back. "Your favorite lie is that you're good at this." She didn't deny it. Didn't cry. Didn't explain. She just looked away. That silence was louder than anything she could have said. "I loved you," Cole added. "And you let someone whisper poison into our life." Was it always him? Or just recently? She looked at him finally. "It was never about love." He nodded. "That's what I figured." Then he stood, grabbed his keys, and paused at the door. "You're going to feel what I felt, Megan." She said nothing. But for the first time, she looked scared. And Cole knew. She should be. Cole stood in the briefing room, surrounded by faces he'd worked with for years, people he bled beside, saved, lied to. Yet none of them knew the war happening right under their noses. Tyler strolled in 10 minutes late, laughing with another agent. The room quieted when he walked up front, dropping his coffee beside the projector like he owned the place. Cole stared at him. That voice echoed again in his mind. "You're worthless." He replayed that moment 100 times, on mute, slowed down, frame by frame. Tyler's face hadn't been angry. It had been calculated, like he wanted Cole to carry those words to his grave. But Cole hadn't died, and Tyler was about to learn why that was the biggest mistake of his life. "Morning, folks," Tyler began, clicking the remote. "Quick update on DeSanto case files." That name was the cue. Cole looked across the table at Ada Maria Velez. She didn't know it yet, but the flash drive in her inbox contained Tyler's digital death warrant. Emails, call logs, the planted texts. Everything timed to hit during this very briefing. 2 minutes later, her phone vibrated. She glanced at it. Froze. Then she stood. "Tyler, I need to speak with you. Privately." The room went still. Tyler blinked. "What's this about?" "Now." He followed her, confused. Cole leaned back in his chair, heart pounding with cold satisfaction. Outside, raised voices echoed behind closed doors. 10 minutes later, Tyler returned, alone. His smile was gone. So was his coffee. He didn't look at Cole. Didn't speak. He just gathered his files and left. And just like that, the whisper was back. But this time, Cole owned it. 2 days later, Cole received the invite. A digital card, clean and smug. "You are cordially invited to a private celebration in honor of Special Agent Tyler Vance's upcoming promotion to Field Director. Saturday, 7 p.m. The Midtown Marquee Lounge." Formal attire. Cole stared at the screen. So they were still pushing the promotion. Still trying to elevate a traitor. He smiled. Perfect. Because the evidence drop was only phase 1. This party? That was phase 2. He started prepping immediately. The plan required finesse. And a little bit of chaos. He contacted Brandon again. "Need a script that mimics a remote phone backup. Enough to trick the Bureau's event security." Brandon whistled. "You're going big. I want Tyler's face on the screen before the champagne hits." Risky. Cole's voice was ice. Necessary. Saturday came fast. Cole dressed clean, black suit. No tie, crisp shirt. He looked like a ghost dressed for a funeral. Megan arrived in silver. She didn't speak to him, just gave him a nod from across the room. She was still playing the part too well. The lounge was packed. Bureau suits, political guests, photographers. Someone clinked a glass. "Ladies and gentlemen," the deputy director said, raising a flute, "please welcome our honoree, Agent Tyler Vance." Applause thundered. Tyler walked up, grinning. But before he could speak, the projector screen behind him flickered. Then static. Then video. A grainy clip began playing. Tyler standing in an alley, handing Megan an envelope. Then another clip, his voice whispering, "Make sure he's gone." Gasps filled the room. Tyler froze. Megan dropped her glass. Cole took one step back and whispered to himself, "Smile for the cameras, partner." Chaos. Reporters surged. Phones came out. Agents moved fast, trying to kill the feed, but the system was jammed. Brandon's script looped the footage on every screen, every speaker, even the bathroom TVs. Tyler stammered something into the mic, but no one listened. The whisper had turned into a roar. Cole stepped through the crowd, calm, collected, watching Tyler drown in silence. The deputy director barked orders. "Cut the damn feed. Lock it down." Security finally yanked the cords. The screen went dark. But the damage was done. Whispers filled the air now. Did he really say that? Is that Megan Merrick? Why was it sent to the bureau server? Was that DeSanto's alley? Tyler stumbled off stage, face pale, sweating bullets. Cole caught his eye. Just for a second. No words. Just the quiet satisfaction of a man who turned whispers into thunder. The party ended early. The next morning, Cole sat in a diner, sipping coffee alone. A news anchor blared from the TV overhead. A developing scandal involving Special Agent Tyler Vance, newly leaked footage, and possible links to organized crime. The FBI released a public statement. An internal investigation is underway. No comment at this time. Cole didn't need to comment. He had already spoken, loud and clear. Tyler's voice, that whisper, was now a weapon on every screen. And the world was finally listening. 3 days after the promotion party imploded, Cole returned to the Midtown Marquee, not as a guest this time, but as a ghost retracing footsteps. He walked the empty event floor, picturing the chaos. The screen flashing. The gasps. Tyler's frozen face. Megan's trembling hands. But that night hadn't just been about exposure. It had been a filter. Cole had quietly slipped a tracking chip into the party invitations, embedded in the QR RSVP codes. Harmless to the untrained eye. But when scanned, it pinged his private server. He now had names, phones, movements of everyone in attendance. Why? Because betrayal rarely happened in pairs. There were others in the bureau who had looked the other way. Or worse, helped bury the truth. One name stood out, Darius J. Reddick, regional supervisor. He'd been close to Tyler for years. Always the one signing off on his clean evaluations. He even vouched for Megan's security clearance when she first applied for analyst training. Cole checked his tracker logs. Reddick had left the party early, then made 2 unlogged stops. One at a private law firm, the other at a warehouse in Bayonne, owned by a shell corp connected to the DeSanto family. Bingo. Cole jotted it down. New objective. Before he left the marquee, he spotted a discarded champagne flute under one of the chairs. He picked it up, studying the smudge of lipstick. Megan's. He bagged it in a glove, placed it beside the old lighter in his evidence kit. He wasn't just documenting their betrayal anymore. He was building a timeline. Tyler sat in his condo, curtains drawn, laptop open, phone buzzing every 10 seconds. He didn't answer. Every screen screamed headlines. FBI agent linked to war crime. Developing. Who is Tyler Vance really? He denied everything. Told the bureau it was a deepfake. Some sick setup. But the audio was clean. Too clean. No way to claim manipulation. Internal Affairs had seized his work laptop. Frozen his accounts. His promotion was paused. His badge? Still in his pocket. For now. Then came the worst knock of all, Megan. He opened the door. She looked worse than him, hair frizzed, hoodie too big, mascara smudged. "I didn't say anything," she said immediately, stepping inside. "Maybe not to them," Tyler said, But someone has us. She threw her bag down. You think I planned this? You were in the video, Megan. You filmed it. No, he said coldly. I lived it. I didn't broadcast it. She paced the room like a caged animal. You told me he wouldn't figure it out. I didn't think he would. Megan's voice cracked. He was my husband, Tyler. I knew his routines, not his mind. You said you'd handle it. I did handle it, Tyler growled. Until someone turned my own life against me. Silence. Then Megan whispered, what if he's not done? Tyler didn't answer. Because he knew she was right. Cole sat in the back booth of an old Italian restaurant in Newark. It was loud. Busy. Perfect cover. Across from him was Sergeant Eli Navarro, a dirty vice cop with a habit of gambling and a worse habit of accepting envelopes. Cole had used him once to pull records without a paper trail. Now, he needed something deeper. I need movement logs, Cole said. Darius Reddick. Any off-grid meetings. Bayonne docks. Last 6 months. Navarro sipped from a greasy glass of whiskey. I get caught doing that. I'm screwed. You were screwed the second you covered up that nightclub incident, Cole said. Remember the body they never found? Navarro's lips tightened. I'll get you what I can, he said finally. But if he's FBI, you're playing with fire. Cole smiled. Low? Good. Let it burn. Navarro slid out of the booth. Cole checked his burner phone. One new message. From Brandon. The planted phone was scanned. 6:14 a.m. FBI server. You're in. The phone in Tyler's glove box, Phase 3, had gone live. Cole exhaled. The pieces were moving. Back at the apartment, he sat with his wall of evidence. Red strings connecting events, people, places. At the center, Tyler. Next to him, Megan. Above them, Reddick. And behind them? He didn't know yet. But he would. Because the cage was opening. And this time, he was the one pulling the lock. It started with a coffee shop receipt. Cole found it tucked in the glove box of Megan's car while she showered. Timestamped 2 weeks before the raid that went sideways. A location she never mentioned. He drove there. It wasn't a coffee shop anymore. The place was shuttered, windows papered up, but still had a working security camera above the awning. A long shot, but he had to try. 3 hours and one favor from Brandon later. He had access to the backup footage. There she was, Megan, entering the building in broad daylight, followed by Darius Reddick. No FBI meeting. No protective detail. No paperwork. Just 2 people exchanging something in a folder. Brandon magnified the clip. Inside the folder? Bank slips. Stamped. Foreign accounts. Laundered cash. Cole leaned closer. Megan wasn't just cheating. She was laundering. The same woman who slept beside him, whispered dreams into his ear, smiled when she packed his lunches. She was washing money through fake analyst shell core inside the bureau. And the man who approved it? Reddick. Cole felt heat rise in his chest. Not rage, purpose. He drove straight to the shell bank listed on the slips. Adler Capital Partners. Clean office. Clean lobby. But the receptionist had one tell, a nervous twitch when he mentioned Megan's name. I'm sorry, she said. We don't have a Megan Merrick in our client registry. I didn't say her last name, Cole replied. Her face turned white. Cole returned to his apartment bunker and started connecting dots. Maps, ledgers, timestamps. He didn't sleep. Didn't eat. The noise in his head wasn't rage, it was the clicking of gears, the machine of revenge now running at full speed. He matched every cash drop Megan made to a raid that went sideways. Every failed mission had a payout. That wasn't coincidence. That was design. His mind ran cold. How deep had this gone? Suddenly, a knock on the apartment door. Cole froze. Gun drawn, silent. No one should know where he was. Another knock. Then a voice. Cole. It's me. He opened the door to find Brandon, out of breath, eyes wild. They're watching you now, Brandon said. Your name's coming up in a Bureau Shadow report. Someone's trying to flip the script. Cole let him in. How bad? They're starting to frame you. What? Brandon dropped a file on the table. Photos of Cole near known drop zones, edited emails, altered messages. All made to look like he was running a side operation with DeSanto. They're trying to bury you, Brandon said. From inside out. Cole stared at the table. This was no longer just revenge. This was survival. He looked at Brandon. We have to get ahead of this. There's only one way, Brandon said. Find the keystone. Whoever's really calling the shots. Cole's blood chilled. It wasn't just Tyler. Not just Megan. Not just Reddick. Someone else was at the center. Someone above them all. The keystone was buried in plain sight. Cole found it buried deep in his own archived bureau messages from a server he hadn't accessed in months. A name. Hendrix M. Rowe. Assistant Deputy Director. Internal Ops. Quiet. Dangerous. The man who handpicked Cole for the raid that nearly got him killed. The same man who'd recruited Megan into intel training. The one who'd overseen Reddick's last promotion. Cole sat in silence for a long time, watching an old video briefing where Hendrix addressed the room. Behind the calm voice and stiff suit, Cole saw it now. The architect. He was never just an administrator. He was the puppeteer. Cole's phone buzzed. A message. Blocked number. I told you to die quiet. You made noise. Audio file attached. He opened the file. Tyler's voice. Talking to Hendrix. He's spiraling. You sure this'll hold up? Then Hendrix. We own the narrative now. He's finished. Your job is to stay clean and out of the way. Let us dismantle him. Cole stared at the screen. His own agency, his own boss, had planned to erase him like a broken piece of tech. He looked around the apartment bunker, his evidence wall, files, blueprints, voices, betrayals. Everything was ready. Now, it wasn't just personal. It was a war, and Hendrix had just made himself the final target. Cole knew Hendrix Rowe wouldn't be taken down with evidence alone. Men like him didn't leave fingerprints. They left shadows. So Cole changed tactics. He drove to the FBI Archives facility in Trenton, disguised as a private courier with forged access credentials. The system was airtight, but Cole had helped build it. He knew its blind spots. He requested 2 files under false pretenses, a past operation Hendrix ran 10 years ago, and Cole's own personnel dossier. The clerk scanned his badge. Says your record is redacted. Cole frowned. Redacted? I've never requested that. Not by you, she said. By internal oversight. Someone sealed your file after the Ridgewood raid. Cole signed the papers and walked out, heart pounding. Redacted? That only happened to agents involved in Black Ops, or about to be erased. Back at the apartment, he pried open the one file he had secured, Operation Emberlight. A bust Hendrix had coordinated personally. Everything seemed normal, until Cole flipped to the expense logs. 2 unaccounted payments. Wire transfers. One to Darius Reddick. The other to a shell company registered under Megan's maiden name. He stared at it for minutes, his pulse cold. They had used him before. Even back then. He was never meant to rise. Just to serve. Be loyal. Be clean. Then die. Cole stood, went to the wall, and wrote one more word under Hendrix's name in thick black ink. Judgment. The city slept while Cole moved like a ghost through an abandoned warehouse on the East Shore. This was the location from one of the payments listed as a communications contractor in the FBI budget. But when Cole broke the lock and stepped inside, he didn't find servers. He found a chair, a camera, chains, a box of burner phones. It was a blackmail room. The walls were lined with stills, photos of agents, judges, city officials, caught in compromising positions. Cole scanned each one. Most he didn't know. But when he did, Megan, half naked, in an office, with Hendrix. He felt his body still, blood draining from his face. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was control. Insurance. Megan hadn't just been sleeping with Tyler. She'd been owned by Hendrix from day one. Was she a victim? A volunteer? Either way, the cost was the same. Cole opened the camera locker and took the drives. This wasn't evidence for the Bureau anymore. This was ammunition. Back in the apartment, he looped one of the videos and sent it to a ghost server. No names. No context. Just a caption. How far does your rot go? He sent it to Hendrix's secure inbox. No signature. No warning. Just a mirror. And a silent declaration. I'm not done. Megan sat at the kitchen table, candle lit, wine half full, face blank. Cole stood in the doorway, watching her from the shadows. He hadn't seen her in person in 4 days. Not since the fallout began to poison every corner of their lives. "You're quiet," she said without turning. "That's always worse than when you yell." "I'm saving my breath," he replied. She took a sip of wine. "So is this it? The part where we pretend we were never married?" Cole stepped into the light. "We were never married. We were a transaction." She laughed, but it cracked. "Don't give me that. You think I didn't want it to be real?" "It started real." "Started?" he echoed. "What part? The sex? The forged job application? Or the part where you laundered blood money through our joint bank account?" Megan stood, hands shaking. "He said you wouldn't survive that raid. That it would be clean. He promised I'd be safe." "Hendricks?" Cole asked. She froze. "You said his name in your sleep," Cole added. "Twice." Her mouth opened, closed. Then softly, "I didn't know he was going to target you. I swear." Cole moved closer, looked into her eyes, searching for a flicker of the woman he once knew. But it wasn't there. Only echoes. "This thing we had," he said, "it was a ghost. And it died the day you helped them bury me." He turned to leave. Megan's voice cracked behind him. "So what happens now?" Cole didn't answer. He didn't have to. The war had moved past emotion. Now it was about balance. And the scale was still tipped. Cole waited outside the doors of Adler Capital Partners, the fake financial firm used to funnel mob money under FBI protection. He wore a gray hoodie, beard grown out just enough to blend in with early morning street traffic. No badge. No trace. Inside sat Julian Ames, the financial architect behind the laundering network. A clean suit with dirty secrets. Megan had met him twice, confirmed by security logs Cole pulled from a compromised server. Julian wouldn't crack under a threat. So Cole didn't bring one. He brought a daughter. Ames' 17-year-old, Olivia, was 2 weeks into an internship at a downtown legal nonprofit. Cole had watched her from a distance, long enough to be sure she wasn't involved, long enough to know what she meant to her father. He left a manila envelope on Julian's desk with a note. "I never touch family. You have 1 hour to talk." See inside, a photo of Olivia. Smiling. Safe. Untouched. With a timestamp. Message received. Julian called in exactly 36 minutes. "I can give you transfers. Account numbers. Names," he said, voice tight with panic. "But leave my family out of it." "I already did," Cole replied. "Start talking." He gave it all. The offshore accounts. The chain of command. The people Hendricks used to clean the money before sending it to Bureau-certified ops. It was all there. Cole didn't just want blood. He wanted the system to eat itself. He hung up and smiled grimly. The cracks were showing now. And the flood was coming. The FBI's third floor was quiet after 7 p.m. Just humming copiers and a tired janitor pushing a mop. Cole walked through it with confidence, wearing a borrowed suit and glasses, fake badge clipped to his chest. He looked like every other tired Fed doing late paperwork. But he wasn't there to file reports. He was there to plant one. Inside the secure print room, he slid in a forged bureau memo timestamped and signed by Hendricks himself. It authorized a raid on an abandoned storage unit tied to DeSanto. But the memo was fake. So was the location. It would lead anyone who followed it to a warehouse Cole had prepped earlier that week, rigged with real evidence, real cash, and one recorded message. From Hendricks. Pulled from an intercepted call and edited perfectly to imply direct involvement. Cole wasn't just framing him. He was mirroring the tactics used against himself. Once the memo was printed and slipped into Reddick's pending file stack, Cole left without a word. He paused in the hallway outside, glancing at a wall of photos, former directors, badge recipients, agents of the year. He stopped at one. His own face. Younger. Sharper. Believing in something. He stared for a moment, then turned and walked away. That man was gone. But the man who remained? He had purpose. Cole timed it perfectly. Reddick was scheduled to host a morning briefing, with Hendricks appearing via video link to deliver rebuilding confidence, messaging in light of the ongoing leaks, damaging Bureau credibility. Cole uploaded the video to the Bureau's internal stream. A 40-second clip spliced from Hendrix's call, Julian's confession, and brief flashes of the forged financial documents. It was subtle at first. The projector flickered behind Reddick as he spoke. Then a word. Directive, eliminate Merrick. Gasps. A pause. More words. Asset compromised. Megan controlled. Disposal clean. Reddick froze. So did every agent in the room. Then came Hendrix's face, half-lit, eyes dark, voice calm. And once it's done, there's no more loose ends. No more Merrick. We control the story. Then, black. Static. Silence. Every phone in the room buzzed with screenshots. Photos. Leaks. No one could stop it. Reddick fumbled his papers. This is fake, he said, sweating. But no one was listening. Because the broadcast had gone external. Cole had fed the stream to 4 public watchdog groups. Within minutes, clips hit Twitter, YouTube, encrypted Telegram channels. By noon, every major news station had the story. A high-level conspiracy, corruption, Mafia links, a rogue agent turned whistleblower. Cole didn't speak. He didn't show his face. But the name Merrick was now everywhere. And for the first time in months, he was in control of the narrative. By sunset, the FBI was on fire, figuratively. News stations looped Hendrix's voice. Social feeds exploded with theories, hashtags, and anger. Congress was demanding answers. Internal affairs was in full lockdown. Cole watched from a rooftop 2 blocks from Bureau HQ, phone in hand, sipping black coffee like it was war fuel. He expected Hendrix to run, to dig deeper, to threaten. Instead, he received a package. No return address. Inside, a flash drive. And a single note, handwritten. You think you started this. You were always just the result. Cole stared at the words. Then plugged the drive into a burner laptop. A video loaded. Surveillance footage, grainy but clear. It was his home. His living room. His couch. Dated years ago. Megan sat there. But she wasn't with Tyler. She was with Hendrix. She was already his. Laughing. Smiling. Giving updates on Cole's mental state, his habits, his weaknesses. He's got no clue, she said in the video. Still thinks I'm real. Then came the punch. A second man entered frame. Cole's breath caught. His bureau supervisor. David Yarrow. The man who trained him. The man who gave the green light on his wedding transfer bonus. A man Cole trusted like family. You think he'll take the bait? Yarrow asked. He's been taking it since the day I moved in, Megan replied. Cole closed the laptop. He didn't move. Didn't speak. Just stood on that rooftop, feeling everything tilt. This wasn't a betrayal. This was a program. A project. And he wasn't the hunter anymore. He was the experiment. Internal Affairs issued a silent warrant at 2 a.m. Cole didn't see it coming. Not until the unmarked van cut him off at an intersection. Armed agents stormed the sidewalk. He raised his hands too late. A taser hit his chest. Then blackness. He woke cuffed to a bench in a soundproof holding cell. No clock. No light from outside. Just steel walls and white noise. Then the door clicked. Yarrow stepped in. Still polished. Still calm. No gun. No fear. You should have stayed erased, he said. Cole didn't flinch. How long have I been your test case? Yarrow smiled, as if proud. 7 years. Started with stress response. Then trust erosion. You were one of 5. Why me? Because you were clean. Quiet. The kind of man people believe. Cole leaned forward. So you planted Megan. You staged the raid. You tried to kill me. No, Yarrow said. You staged the raid. You just didn't know you were playing a part. Cole's mind raced. Was it possible? Had every mission, every assignment, been a layer in a controlled burn? Yarrow continued. You wanted truth. But all you ever got was what we fed you. Cole spat on the floor. And Hendrix. He answers to me. Yarrow stood, buttoning his coat. You'll stay here for a while. Then we'll kill your name. A tragic suicide. Regret. PTSD. A faded ghost. But before he left, Yarrow looked back. And for what it's worth, Megan did try to leave. She just loved you too late. Then the door shut, and Cole was alone. But his rage? It was very much awake. Cole waited. Not hours, days. They fed him twice a day through a slot in the wall. No contact. No questions. Just silence and cold food. But he wasn't broken. He was focused. He replayed every moment of the last year in his head. Every name. Every move. Every mistake. Until the pattern became a weapon. Then the door opened again. This time, it wasn't Yarrow. It was Megan. Eyes hollow. Hair disheveled. Dressed in civilian clothes, face bare. Cole stared. This some kind of game? No, she said. I'm here to get you out. He laughed bitterly. Too late for guilt. I'm not here because of guilt, she replied. I'm here because he turned on me too. Cole's smile faded. She sat beside him, pulled a photo from her coat. Hendricks and Yarrow in a dark room, shaking hands with a known Russian operative. Why? Cole asked. Money. Leverage. Contracts. You were never the target, she said. You were the test. Megan slid a keycard across the bench. This opens the outer level. The rest? You'll have to figure out. Why help me? She didn't look at him. I had to see you one more time before this ends. She stood. He'll come for me next, she said. But I'm done running. Megan, she turned. I did love you. Somewhere in the lies, there was truth. Then she walked out. And Cole sat there, breathing, processing. Everything had changed again. But now he had something he hadn't before. Proof. And a door. The war wasn't over. It was about to restart, with fire. Cole didn't move right away. He stared at the keycard Megan left behind, lying flat against the cold bench like a weapon waiting to be used. She said she came to help. Said Hendricks and Yarrow had turned on her too. Maybe she was telling the truth. Or maybe this was the final play. To see if he'd trust her one more time. Just long enough to kill him for real. But Cole didn't care anymore. Trust was dead. Only strategy lived now. He slid the card into the palm of his hand and moved to the door. It beeped once, then opened. No alarms. No guards. Just a dim hallway. He kept low, quiet. The place wasn't a bureau site. It was private. Off-grid. The kind of place you disappeared from, not into. He passed 2 empty rooms. Interrogation-style setups. Chairs bolted to floors. Cameras behind tinted glass. Then he saw it. A data room. Locked, but not for long. He picked the keypad. Quick, quiet. Inside were drives. Boxes of archived footage. Security backups. Tagged but sloppily locked. He grabbed 3. Just as he was leaving, a screen flickered on. A looping video, a younger Cole. At Quantico. Smiling. Laughing with Yarrow. Hendricks in the background. Under it, Case File 7. Social isolation response. Primary subject. Merrick. Cole, it wasn't just surveillance. It was research. He took the entire CPU tower. The lights flickered. He ran. It took Cole 14 hours to reach DC, using stolen credentials, hopping transport routes, never staying on grid more than 10 minutes. He stashed the CPU in a storage locker near the Greyhound depot, marked it with a red sticker. Then he made the call. Brandon, I have something. I need extraction and duplication. You have 6 hours. Jesus, Cole, Whereview, no time. It's not just corruption. It's experiments. Behavioral data. Agents like me were part of a test group. I have proof. Brandon paused. What do you want me to do? Copy it. Then leak it wide. Full drop. But hold the kill switch until I say. You're going back in, aren't you? Yeah, Cole said. But not for revenge this time. For what then? Cole's voice was cold. For the others who never made it out. Hours later, as Cole crept into bureau headquarters in a maintenance uniform, sirens wailed on the far end of the building. Smoke was curling out of the cybercrime's wing. The fire was intentional. A distraction Brandon triggered. Cole passed security with a limp and a hard stare. No one questioned him. The chaos had people focused elsewhere. He reached the upper floor, Yarrow's office. Broke in. Inside was a wall safe. He didn't crack it. He planted a bug behind it. A camera feed, encrypted to Brandon's cloud. Let them try to erase him again. This time, he was recording everything. Yarrow stood at the far end of a conference table, flanked by two attorneys and Hendrix's private security. "We'll contain the leaks," one lawyer said. "Pin it on the rogue agent theory. Paint Cole as a radical." Yarrow didn't answer. He just stared at a folder on the table. Inside, the CPU schematic, the flash drive logs, surveillance footage from inside the off-grid site. Cole had them. Everything. Yarrow turned to Hendrix. He got out. Hendrix's face didn't change. "Then we need a new narrative." "And Megan?" one agent asked. "She's expendable," Hendrix said. But what none of them noticed was the blinking red dot on the side of the briefcase. The bug Cole planted had been listening the entire time. He heard it all. The betrayal. The plan to burn Megan. The next phase of the cover-up. Back at the safe house, Cole downloaded the feed. His jaw clenched. Not out of shock, but out of purpose. He activated a separate flash drive labeled Final Trigger. It was time to weaponize the truth. He looked out the window at the sunrise over D.C. This wouldn't be another leak. This would be a confession broadcasted by the monsters themselves. The ones who turned loyalty into a lab test. Cole didn't just want justice. He was ready to burn the entire program to the ground. The rain hit D.C. like it meant to drown it. Streets slicked black under streetlights, shadows moving fast and quiet. Cole moved faster. He slipped through the back door of an abandoned press room 4 blocks from Capitol Hill, his hideout since leaving HQ. The smell of ink, dust, and old electricity clung to the walls. He preferred it that way. Brandon's voice crackled in his ear. "The bug's working. They've scheduled another closed-door ops briefing for tomorrow. Hendrix will be there." "Keep recording," Cole replied. "Are the synthetic prompts ready?" "Yeah, but you're playing with fire. If this voice mapping slips, we're both buried." "It won't." Cole had studied Hendrix's voice for weeks. Tone, cadence, phrasing. Brandon's software had deep-faked confessions before. This would be the masterpiece. He ran the final test file. Hendrix's voice. "The Merrick experiment proved psychological conditioning is scalable. Agents broke under subtle stress, marriages, loyalty, memory, all tools we designed." Cole closed his eyes. Chilling. Flawless. Tomorrow, he would trigger the leak. But not by sharing the file. No. He'd play it into the briefing, through a redirected server from inside the bureau. They'd hear their own voices confessing, live. They wouldn't know what was real. But the world would. Ghost Agent was ready. And Cole? He was done hiding. Megan sat alone in a cheap motel off Route 17. No makeup. No signal. No lies left. The mirror in front of her was cracked, just enough to distort her face into fragments. Fitting. She'd burned her aliases, deleted her backups, even flushed the burner phones. But the game was already done. They had turned on her. Again. She watched the news. Cole's name back in the headlines. The footage of Hendrix's face played across every screen in the country now. The rogue agent lie wasn't holding. She lit a cigarette with a shaking hand. Her fingers still bore the tan line from a wedding ring she didn't wear anymore. She remembered the first time Hendrix approached her, flashed the badge, told her she had potential. They promised her leverage, control, power. What she got was a cage made of secrets. And Cole? She didn't even know who he was anymore. But she remembered who he had been. The man who once made her laugh at 3 a.m. in a Waffle House. The one who walked into fire for teammates. The one who kept every promise until hers broke them all. A knock on the door snapped her back. She reached under the pillow, gripped the pistol. "Who is it?" she called. Silence. Then a voice, distorted, through a speaker. "They're coming for both of us now. Meet me at the old safe house. Tonight." The voice cut out. She opened the door. No one there. But on the floor sat an envelope. Inside, photos. Of her. Hendrix. Tyler. And Cole. She closed her eyes. One last move, she thought. One she'd have to get right. The meeting was off record. No aides. No cameras. Just Hendrix, Yarrow, Reddick, and 2 high-level intel chairs behind locked doors. They gathered in a secure room, soundproofed, with signal jammers. Perfect for a secret. Perfect for a setup. Status? Hendricks asked, ice cold. Euro poured scotch. We've contained the narrative. Our guy at media is spinning it as deepfake warfare. Reddick added, Cole's not surfaced. Could be dead. Then Hendricks nodded. Good. Proceed with the final erasure. I want every trace of the Merrick files gone by morning. That was his mistake. Because the room wasn't fully jammed. Cole's hijacked feed activated, just 1 second delay. Enough to stream, enough to store. From a maintenance closet across the hall, Cole sat in a janitor's uniform, watching it all on a silent screen. He zoomed in on Hendrix's face, on Yarrow's smirk, on the moment they thought they'd won. Brandon's voice clicked in. You're getting all this? Every word, Cole whispered. Now patch it to the National Leak relay. Frame it as a whistleblower dump. Tell them it came from inside. Done. Timestamp it. Cole looked at the clock. 9:17 p.m. the moment they sentenced me, he said. Let them burn by their own hands. Then he uploaded the file. 15 minutes later, Hendrix's voice echoed nationwide. And this time, no one could shut it off. Miles away, in a cold mountain house with boarded windows and satellite feeds, Tyler Vance watched the firestorm hit. His face was pale, unshaven. He hadn't left the compound in a week. He kept thinking he was safe, that he'd escaped the fallout. But the moment Hendrix's audio leaked, his world ended. Phones lit up. News tickers exploded. He heard his own name mentioned next, Tyler Vance, FBI associate tied to internal psychological ops. He threw the remote. No. The feed cut to archived surveillance, him with Megan. Him whispering. Him setting Cole up. Then a knock. He spun toward the door, gun drawn. Nothing. He opened it and froze. On the porch sat a burner phone, still lit. One message on screen. Run if you want. But ghosts don't forget. His hands shook. He looked around the empty landscape trees. Silence. But he knew. Somewhere out there, Cole was watching. Tyler stepped back inside and locked every bolt. And still, he didn't feel safe. Cole tracked Reddick to a private golf estate outside Maryland. He was hiding there, away from D.C., press, bureau, and the burning wreckage Cole left behind. Reddick wasn't prepared for the knock at 3:34 a.m. He opened the door in a robe, eyes bloodshot, gun trembling in his hand. Jesus, he whispered when he saw Cole. You're not dead. No, Cole said quietly. But you're about to wish you were. Reddick stepped back. Look, I didn't plan this. I was following orders. It was Hendricks, not me. He's the one who saved it. Cole walked past him, calm, controlled. The living room reeked of sweat and fear. On the coffee table, shredded files. A fireplace full of burned paper. Evidence. Why'd you sign off on Megan's access? Cole asked, picking up a charred edge of her file. Reddick swallowed. She was already cleared. I looked the other way. You sold my marriage for a bonus check. She said she loved you. I thought maybe she'd walk away. Cole turned. That's the difference between you and me, he said. You think betrayal's temporary. I don't. Reddick dropped the gun, hands raised. Please, don't. Cole stepped closer. I'd eye. I'm not here to kill you. He slid a flash drive onto the table. I'm here to let them do it. Then he walked out, leaving Reddick frozen, watching as his own confession streamed to the cloud, public, permanent, and unstoppable. The DeSanto family was unraveling. Cole had fed their name into every leak, linking them to FBI laundering, rogue experiments, and insider executions. Now their street networks were getting raided. Safe houses burned. Mid-tier hitters flipping for immunity. But Cole needed one final play. So he flew to Chicago under a false name and sat down with Luca Romano, former hitman turned ghost. Cole found him living under protection, face rebuilt by surgeons, haunted by memory. I don't work anymore, Lucas said. I'm not asking you to kill, Cole replied. I'm asking you to talk. Luca narrowed his eyes. About Hendricks. The kill contracts. My wife. Luca lit a cigarette. You want revenge. I want erasure. We both want the same thing. Cole placed a recorder on the table. Luca gave everything. How the contracts were funded. How Megan was used to test stress fractures. How Tyler supervised black bag eliminations under Hendrix's watch. Names, dates, payouts. By the end of the conversation, Cole had the final piece, the trigger order for Operation Stonevale, the op that was supposed to get him killed. He left the room silent. This wasn't about exposure anymore. It was about shattering the legacy these men built. And he had just loaded the hammer. Tyler ran to Mexico, a private resort in Tulum. No records, no passport stamps, just sunlight and sand, trying to forget. He thought he could hide from karma, but karma already knew the language. At 6:42 a.m., he walked the shoreline, barefoot, shaking, looking over his shoulder every few steps. Then he saw the chair. Alone, facing the ocean, someone sitting in it. It took him a moment to realize, Cole. Sunglasses on. Silent. Tyler froze. You followed me. Cole didn't stand. No. I waited. Tyler's voice cracked. You want to kill me? No. I want you to look at the life you could have had, then walk away with nothing. Tyler swallowed. You leaked everything, didn't you? Cole nodded. You're done. You'll never work again. You'll be hunted by cartels, agencies, your own past. I was trying to survive, Tyler said. So was I, Cole said softly. Difference is, I did it with my name intact. He stood, handed Tyler a phone. That has your entire life on it. Every deal, every lie, every wire transfer. Why give it to me? Cole stared into his eyes. So you can choose how it ends. Then he walked away, barefoot in the sand, leaving Tyler alone. For the first time in his life, truly powerless. The news dropped that morning. Mass FBI conspiracy exposed, behavioral ops, money laundering, agent assassinations confirmed. The story exploded. Congress called emergency hearings. Journalists swarmed bureau entrances. Former agents came forward. Families of victims sued. Cole sat in his apartment bunker, final flash drive in hand. He inserted it, uploaded the last video. A message, clean. No editing. Just him. Face to camera. My name is Cole Merrick. I was loyal. I was used. I survived. He detailed everything. Clear, precise, without hate. He spoke to the agents who were lied to the families who never got closure, to every person who'd ever trusted the system and been betrayed. Then he ended with 4 words. Never stop recording truth. He hit upload. The screen went dark. And Cole finally leaned back, knowing the war wasn't just won. It was witnessed. Cole sat in a private hearing room in D.C., a gray, windowless space with plastic water bottles and men in suits who didn't know how to look him in the eye. Across the table, a bureau attorney read from a notepad. Mr. Merrick, we've reviewed the evidence. The leaked material has been confirmed. We've verified the voice-mapped files, the offshore accounts, the contracts. Cole stayed quiet. Another suit leaned forward. You were never supposed to be the villain, but you broke nearly a dozen federal laws doing what you did. I was never supposed to be anything, Cole replied. That was the problem. They didn't answer right away. The first man slid a document across the table. Your record's being restored. Your badge, reinstated symbolically. You won't return to field duty, but you're no longer erased. Cole looked at the badge sitting on the table. Clean. Untouched. It felt like a trophy on a grave. I don't want it, he said quietly. Silence. He stood, turned to leave. At the door, the director said, Why leak it anonymously? You could have walked out a hero. Cole didn't turn. I'm not interested in applause, he said. Just accuracy. Then he walked out. A ghost with nothing left to prove. A month later, Congress passed the Whistleblower Shield Reform Act, unofficially dubbed the Merrick Law. It protected agents who exposed internal corruption, especially those targeted through covert ops. Psychological manipulation programs were outlawed. Oversight doubled. Cases reopened. Cole watched it all from a distance. He didn't want the credit. He wanted the machine that nearly broke him to stay broken. He received a letter from a widow, the wife of Agent Ryan Hale, the rookie who died on the raid. She had watched the broadcast, read every leak. The letter said, You didn't just get justice for yourself. You got it for Ryan. For all of them. Thank you. He stared at those words for a long time, then folded them, and put them away in a box labeled untouched. Not because he didn't care, but because he cared too much. Some things didn't belong on display. Some things belonged in silence. Cole returned to the apartment across from his old house. It was still there, dust-covered, camera tripods folded in a corner. The window still perfectly framed the bedroom window where everything had started. He stood there for hours, watching. Even though the house was empty now, Megan was gone. The Bureau sold the property as part of the fallout. Still, he watched, not out of grief, but as a reminder. This was where awareness had started, where lies shattered, where clarity began. He thought about burning the place down, but fire was for cleansing, and Cole was already clean. Instead, he opened a notebook, the same one where he first wrote Tyler Vance in thick ink. He turned to a blank page and wrote a single word. Done. Then he closed the book and left it behind. At a quiet cabin in Oregon, far from cameras and contracts, Cole sat on the porch with a pen in hand. In front of him, a single sheet of paper. He wasn't writing a statement or a confession. He was writing to the man he used to be. You believed in the Bureau. You believed in her. You believed justice was something you earned, not built. You weren't wrong. You just didn't know how many hands were already inside the machine. They tried to turn you into an experiment, but you became the control variable. You won't get peace in headlines or love in memory, but you'll know the truth. And that's the only thing they couldn't rewrite. He folded the letter, sealed it, then threw it into the fire. Because this letter wasn't for anyone else to read. It was just to remind himself that the man they tried to erase still existed. And now, he was free. The courtroom was cold. Not in temperature, in tone. No cameras. No jury. Just a judge, a prosecutor, a defense team, and Megan Merrick seated behind bulletproof glass, hands folded. Cole sat in the back row, unannounced, unseen. He didn't come for revenge. He came for confirmation. The charges were staggering: conspiracy to commit federal fraud, laundering cartel money through government networks, aiding illegal surveillance on federal agents, and obstruction of justice. Megan didn't flinch. The prosecutor spoke sharply, listing the timeline, highlighting Megan's connection to Hendricks and Reddick. Her defense tried to soften her role, claiming she was recruited under coercion. Cole watched her closely. Her face didn't beg. It accepted. When the sentence came, the courtroom went dead silent. 25 years. No parole. Megan blinked once. That was it. As she was escorted out, she looked toward the gallery. Right at Cole. Their eyes locked, the first time since that night in the bunker. She mouthed something only he could see. Thank you. Then she was gone. Tyler's image resurfaced a week later, not from law enforcement, but from an anonymous Dropbox link sent to multiple newsrooms. Inside, a video. Tyler, in some remote motel, face gaunt, eyes red, voice hollow. He confessed. Everything. His affair with Megan. His role in the raid. The sabotaged op. His conversations with Hendricks and Yarrow. The whole operation. But the final line cut deepest. He should have died. But he didn't. And that's the problem. Ghosts come back with nothing to lose. Then the video cut. Feds began a global manhunt. But Cole knew better. Tyler wasn't running from arrest. He was running from memory. From himself. And the world would forget him in time. That was the real sentence. 2 months after the trial, Cole received another letter, hand-delivered by a federal courier. He recognized the seal, FBI Oversight Division. Inside, a reinstatement offer. Not symbolic. Real. An off-books advisory position. Intel strategy. Quiet consulting. High pay. No press. They wanted him back. They wanted to say they'd fixed the machine, and they needed the ghost to show it. Cole folded the letter without reading the rest. He lit a match, watched it burn, then whispered, I already served my time. He didn't need the badge. He'd already left his mark. Cole stood outside a Bureau training facility in Quantico, watching new recruits move through drills, role-play debriefs, ethics scenarios. Inside, instructors quoted pieces of his story anonymously. Case files based on him had entered FBI ethics curriculum. They didn't call it the Merrick Protocol, but everyone knew what it meant. Don't weaponize loyalty. Don't build shadows in a system meant to deliver justice. Cole watched from the sidelines. No cameras. No credit. Just quiet. A young recruit stepped out of class, phone in hand, talking loud. She was planted for 5 years, and he still figured it out, the recruit said. Guy's a ghost. Cole turned and walked away. He didn't need them to know his face. Just his footprint. It was nearly midnight when Cole received the package. No return address. No markings. Just a small padded envelope left at the door of his Oregon cabin. Inside, a flash drive. And a note, handwritten. He wanted you to hear it. Claire Hale. Cole stared at the name. Claire Hale. Widow of Ryan Hale, the rookie agent who died in the rigged raid. The first crack in Cole's world. He hesitated for a long moment before sliding the flash into his laptop. The screen lit up. Audio only. A recording from Ryan's personal device, never submitted into evidence. Cole hit play. If anything happens to me, it's not an accident. Something's off with Vance. He's too loose, too slick. He briefed me alone today, told me to follow Cole's lead, then rerouted the plan. If this goes sideways, I need someone to look into it. I trust Merrick. He's the only one not playing a part. The file ended. Cole leaned back, silence thick around him. Ryan had known. That kid, so green, so wide-eyed, had seen it too. And still, he'd walked into a trap designed for Cole. Cole's jaw clenched. His hands balled. But this wasn't rage. This was weight. One more name he carried. But now, with truth released, and the widow watching, maybe the burden didn't crush. Maybe it built. It had been raining for 4 days straight. Cole stood outside the old safe house in northern Washington, a black umbrella above his head, the gravel crunching softly beneath his boots. He came alone, just like the first time. Inside, the place hadn't changed much. Same creaky floors. Same flickering lamp in the corner. But the silence felt different now. Not heavy. Not haunted. Just quiet. He walked the room slowly. Stopped at the wall where he once pinned names. They were gone now. All of them. Burned. Buried. Publicly exposed. Legally sentenced. Silenced by their own words. The whispers that once stalked his every step? They didn't echo anymore. He poured a small glass of whiskey. Sat in the center of the room, eyes closed, and listened. Not for enemies. Not for shadows. Just for stillness. It was real now. Earned. Not gifted. The phone in his pocket buzzed. A single message from Brandon. No more traces. You're off the grid. Fully. Cole smiled faintly. Took you long enough. He deleted the message. Then stood. Walked to the front porch. Rain still fell, steady and pure. For the first time in years, he wasn't planning anything. Not tracking. Not recording. Not running. Just being. There were no more enemies. Only memories. But unlike the ones he was forced to carry, these he chose to keep. 3 years later, Cole stood under gray skies on a hillside just outside Langley. A new class of agents had just graduated. Their final simulation had been brutal, designed to test not only instincts but integrity. The program director, a former analyst, credited it to a ghost playbook. They didn't know Cole stood at the tree line watching. Didn't know the simulation was built from the strategies he'd once used to dismantle the same system that had trained him. They never said his name, but the whispers had changed. In the hallways, rookies spoke quietly about the ghost. A man who had turned a whisper into a storm. Not for fame, not for a badge, but to remind them that the system should serve truth, not hide behind it. He lit a cigarette. Rare now, just for moments like this. A young agent stepped out alone from the compound, adjusting her tie, muttering under her breath. She dropped her notepad. Cole walked over, picked it up, and handed it back. She blinked. Thanks. He gave a small nod and walked off. She looked down and found a quote scribbled inside the notebook. Truth doesn't need permission. It just needs a witness. No name. No signature. Just truth. The mountain air hit differently this time. Cole returned to the Oregon cabin with no plan. No war to map. No name to erase. Inside, the desk was clean. No monitors. No red string. Just a journal. He opened to the last page. Wrote one line. I was never worthless. I was just too dangerous for their comfort. Outside, the wind moved like a breath. Soft. Present. He stepped out to the porch and sat, same chair. Same silence. But now it was peace, not paranoia. Then he looked straight ahead, like he was talking to you. Like you were sitting across from him. And with a half-smile, he asked, if they turned on me to protect their lie, what would they do to you if you ever told the truth? Wherever you're watching this story from, whether it's your bedroom, your car, your dark living room at 2 a.m., tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? I want to know who's out there. Who felt this story? Who lived it with me? And if this hit you hard, if you stayed all the way through. Like it. Share it with someone who's ever been betrayed. And hey, subscribe, because I promise, we're not done telling the truth. Not even close.